The excitement continues to build in Pittsburgh around the Pirates. With a record still among baseball's best, the question in the Steel City is not whether this will be a winning season, but perhaps a playoff season. The Mets have shaken off a slow start behind young power arms and timely hitting. They have the most wins in the NL East over the last month. It's the Mets and Pirates next on Baseball Night in America. A beautiful Saturday evening in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania for the second of a three-game weekend series on Fox. It's Baseball Night in America, the New York Mets and the Pittsburgh Pirates. They played 11 innings last night. Jordy Mercer, the hero, with the base hit up the middle, driving in the winning run. As the Pirates defeated the Mets 3-2. Pittsburgh just a game out in the National League Central. A post-game pie from teammate A.J. Burnett. As we welcome you to Pittsburgh, Kenny Albert along with Bill Ripken. Different feeling here in Pittsburgh this season. Pirates were the first Major League team to 50 wins. They're sending 4 players to the All-Star game at Citi Field on Tuesday. But, Bill, it all starts with pitching. Absolutely.
Pittsburgh's 19 games over 500. They're a really good team, but they pitch extremely well. They lead all of baseball in 3 of these pitching categories. Pretty impressive as you see this team get after it this year. And on the mound tonight is A.J. Burnett. Look, this guy had a calf injury. He came back. He pitched well in his first outing. And Clint Hurdle tells you that this guy is the leader of this staff. Even though they were getting it done without him, they love having their number one back.
So Burnett making his second start, coming off the disabled list, the former New York Yankee, up against a Mets squad playing better baseball as of late. They swept the San Francisco Giants out west earlier this week. Mets, of course, led by their captain, David Wright, heading to his 7th All-Star game.
Yeah, Captain America, he's big. He is Mr. Met, in my opinion. And this guy actually flies under the radar a little bit. When you think about the third baseman in the game today, he doesn't necessarily get all the credit. But as you can see here, he leads the National League in hits since his debut in the big leagues in 2004. A very impressive all-around baseball player. Third baseman David Wright is Mr. Met.
And he is headed to the All-Star game at his home ballpark along with his teammate Matt Harvey. They will be joined by 4 members of the Pittsburgh Pirates. It's the Pirates and Mets next on Baseball Night in America on Fox. Pittsburgh. Sellout crowd expected for the Mets and the Pirates following the 3-2 Pittsburgh win in 11 innings last night. The opening pitch brought to you by Budweiser, the official beer of Major League Baseball. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds. The New York Mets come in with a record of 40-49. Their batting order brought to you by Taco Bell. Sometimes you gotta live Moss. Left fielder Eric Young Jr. will lead off, followed by second baseman Daniel Murphy. All-star David Wright hits third. Ike Davis in the cleanup spot. Then the hot-hitting right fielder Marlon Byrd. Center fielder Kirk Neuenhuis bats sixth. Bottom of the order, the catcher John Buck. Shortstop Omar Quintanilla. And the pitcher Carlos Torres will bat ninth. Pittsburgh Pirates, second place in their division, but Clint Hurdle's squad with the third most wins in all of baseball. Only the Red Sox and Cardinals have won more games, Bill, than the Pittsburgh Pirates.
And you think about this club and what they're trying to get over is last year and the year before they had a little bit of collapse after the All-Star break as it went down, and they kind of blew up two pretty good seasons. This year looks like a complete different team, and mentioning the All-Star game, they got four of them that are going to that All-Star game, and that's one of the reasons why.
There's one of the four, the New York native Pedro Alvarez, who hit his 24th home run of the season last night, second in the National League. Alvarez heading out to his spot at third base. A look at the 36-year-old right-hander, A.J. Burnett. We talked about him in our open moments ago. Second start coming off the disabled list. Missed 3 weeks due to the strained right calf. Record of 4-6 in 15 starts this season.
Yeah, and he's the legitimate number one starter on this staff. We talked about how good their pitching has been, but this guy, Clint Hurdle, said he does his thing on the mound. But what he does the other 4 days and how hard he works, I think the other pitchers see, and I think they feed on that. And I think when you look at A.J. Burnett pitching tonight, look, he's got to be efficient early if he wants to go really deep in the game. He's had one outing since he came back from his calf injury, and then if he does get into trouble, let's go to that punch-out stuff he has. He's got a punch-out heater. He's got a punch-out hook. Let's see those pitches. But early on, he should be efficient with his pitches, down in the strike zone with heaters, see if he can get some quick outs.
Burnett originally drafted by the Mets back in '95, sent to the Marlins to the Al Leiter deal in February of '98. Of course, spent 3 seasons with the Yankees before coming to Pittsburgh prior to the 2012 season. Defensively for the Pirates, around the infield, Jones, Mercer, Farmas, and Alvarez. In the outfield from left to right, Marte, McCutcheon, and Tabata, with Russell Martin behind the plate. The battery of Burnett and Martin, who has had an outstanding season. And Clint Hurdle gives Russell Martin a lot of credit for the Pirates' success here in 2013.
Yeah, seems to be that ultimate gamer, and sometimes that's a term that's overused in this game. But when you saw that defensive alignment, we talked about the Pirates being number one in pitching. Well, you got some guys in the outfield. When the ball's hit up the gap or hit towards the wall, there's 3 guys out there that can definitely go and get it. That helps the pitching staff immensely.
Bill, before we get started, time for our Ford keys to tonight's game. As Eric Young Jr. steps in.
Yeah, for the Mets, you got to have better than the 1, 2, or 3 hitters. Last night they had 6 of the 9 hits in that extra inning loss, and you got to be better than 4 all the way down. And for the Pirates, ride your All-Stars. I mentioned the fact that they've got All-Stars out there. It's one of the reasons why their record is so good.
Set to go here in Pittsburgh. Eric Young Jr. has done a nice job for the Mets since coming over from Colorado.
Well, this team's been a better team on the road. I don't think they have enough power to play at home and compete that way. And EY here has been a big lift for this club, getting on base and being able to score runs the manufactured style.
Acquired by the Mets on June 18th. It's Young, Murphy, and Wright against Burnett here in the top of the first inning. Young, a pair of doubles in last night's game, batting .262. .296 with the Mets. 2-0 from Burnett, called strike. Now 2-1.
Oh, it looked like it had a little life on it. Cut. Kind of looked like it fooled Russell Martin a little bit, and the ball got thrown out. AJ's got this effortless delivery. He really does. He's a guy that doesn't really worry a whole lot about mechanics. He turns the body, shows the hitter his back, and then just lets it fly.
2-1 from Burnett. Young square to bunt and takes strike 2.
And that's what I'm talking about with AJ. It's good stuff. He has, with his heater and his hook, probably in the top 20 of all of baseball with his fastball and his breaking ball. If he can harness the strike zone, he's going to get people out.
Won 16 games for the Pirates last year. 2-2 to the leadoff hitter, Young. Missing high and away, and the count is full. Payoff pitch from Burnett, and Young draws a leadoff walk.
And this is the motion I'm talking about with AJ. It is effortless. It's not max effort by any stretch of the imagination. The ball comes out of his hand extremely well, 92 to 94 miles an hour.
So Young on at first. He has 15 stolen bases this year. He's also been caught 7 times.
Not the ideal percentage, but you still got to do it if it's part of your game. You've got to figure it out. Like I said, the Mets really don't have the power that some of the other teams do, so you have to manufacture.
And Young goes on the first pitch. Here's the throw from Martin. And Young is in with his 16th steal of the season.
AJ kind of condensed that a little bit. It was a little bit more of a shorter delivery right there. He usually picks his foot up higher, but EY picked on him on the first pitch. I don't think Russell had much of a chance to get him there.
Now, Russell Martin has thrown out more base runners than any other catcher in all of baseball, and Clint Hurdle gave him a huge ton of credit for what he's brought to the Pirates behind the plate this season. But with Burnett on the mound this year, base runners are now 14 of 14.
Right, and you don't want to take that away from AJ either, because he's a guy that can get people out at home plate. And his delivery is such, he's a big, tall man. It's a big leg kick. You don't want to see him losing too much focus on the hitter and worrying about base runners.
He fell behind 2-0 to Young and now falls behind 2-0 to Daniel Murphy. That's with a runner in scoring position here in the first inning. As Murphy pops it up to the right side, the second baseman, Mercer, makes the play for out number 1. You hear the boos for David Wright, as was the case last night. It has been well documented that Wright is the National League captain for the Home Run Derby on Monday. He did not select Pedro Alvarez initially. There's Pedro, second in the league in home runs with 24, matching his uniform number. But Alvarez will now take part, replacing Carlos Gonzalez.
Yeah, and I like this. We'll talk about this for 4 at-bats for David Wright on fan reaction. My first inclination is good for the Pirate fans to boo somebody else on another team, because typically what they've been doing over the past, 15 years is booing their own team. So now their team is relevant. They're picking on David Wright as a villain, although I think David Wright did a lot of things right in his selections.
0-1. Young takes his lead off second with 1 out. Now, David Wright texted Alvarez on Thursday asking him if he would join the National League squad for the Home Run Derby, replacing Gonzalez, and they shook hands prior to the game last night.
And that's a good scene. And like I said, I think David's done an awful lot right. And if anybody deserves a hall pass on picking this, it can't be easy captaining a Home Run Derby team for the National League. I think David Wright's handled himself extremely well.
1-2.
And what I mean by that is he went to MLB and said, okay, who do the fans want to see? And the fans wanted to see Bryce Harper. So we picked him. And then there was 1 spot left, and he said, you know what? I got a buddy. It's a homeboy of mine from Northern Virginia, and I'm going to take Michael Kadire, who, by the way, is still my sleeper pick. And I'd love to see him win it and then have some justification for this pick.
1-2, a cold strike So Wright is now 3 for 19 lifetime against A.J. Burnett. Strikes out for out number 2.
And this is a tough at bat. It really is for right-hand hitters to face this guy, how he crossfires a little bit, and then this hook just jelly legs him. You know, typically David Wright's thinking maybe away right there with the breaking ball. He started a little bit in, closer to his body, just kind of locked him up, called third strike.
So 2 unproductive outs for the Mets following the steal of second by Eric Young with nobody out. Here's Ike Davis, 0 for 4 in last night's game and 5 for 21 since his return from AAA Las Vegas.
It's pretty interesting right here, too. A.J. was having a hard time finding the strike zone with the heater, has come down with 3 out of the 4 pitches as breaking balls and dropping them into home plate. And sometimes throwing that secondary pitch might get you back in tune with your heater, too.
He got ahead of Wright, now ahead of Davis, 0-1. 0-2.
That's nasty right there. Now what you have 0-2, and he has the ability where he could elevate a fastball up and away to see if he'll chase, or you could just say, you know what, I don't have to throw one better than that. Let's throw the same hook and see if I can get him out with 3 pitches. It's a nice block right there on the breaking ball in the dirt by Russell Martin. And Clint Hurdle was talking about that before the game, too. He's throwing out people. He's calling a good game. And look, if you want to talk textbook, that ball doesn't even roll anyway away from Russell Martin. That's just textbook.
One ball, 2 strike count with 2 outs. Alvarez. Davis is retired. Young stranded. Pirates coming up. Pirates with a record of 55-36. Their batting order brought to you by Taco Bell. Sometimes you gotta live Moss. Starling Marte leads off, followed by Jose Tabata. Andrew McCutcheon hits third, then Pedro Alvarez in the cleanup spot. Russell Martin bats fifth, followed by first baseman Garrett Jones. Bottom third of the order, the second baseman Jordy Mercer, shortstop Clint Farmas, and A.J. Burnett, Pirates pitcher, will bat ninth. A look at the 30-year-old right-hander Carlos Torres, has done a terrific job out of the bullpen for the Mets. Will make his first major league start since August of 2010 with the White Sox. He did well as a starting pitcher for AAA Las Vegas earlier this season.
Yeah, the big number jumps out at me there is the opponent average, hitting 197. 1 for 5, that's pretty good, and I know he's coming out of the pen, but I think he has the capability of pitching a pretty good game against this power lineup, though.
Marte leads off, swing and a miss for strike one. Torres has allowed only 1 earned run as a Met this season in 17 2/3 innings, and that came on a walk-off home run hit by Kevin Franzen of the Phillies.
Looking at Torres, too, and what I think he needs to do today is go at it like a reliever and go 1 inning at a time. He can go 7 because he started at AAA, so he can get stretched out, and he really found himself at AAA. Had a rough spring, tinkering with some things, went down to AAA, found himself, pitched really well, got back to the big leagues.
6 career starts in the major leagues, all with the White Sox. Pitched out of the pen for the Rockies last season. Falls behind 3-1.
Starling Marte is probably the near-miss all-star out of this squad as well, putting together a really good year.
Doubled twice in last night's game. Pops this one up to shallow right. And the catch is made by the right fielder Bird, calling off the second baseman Murphy for out number 1. Defensively for the Mets, around the infield, Davis, Murphy, Quintanilla, and Wright. Young in left, Neuenhuis in center, Bird in right. The battery of Torres and Buck. So 1 away here in the bottom of the first inning as Jose Tabanes steps in. Came up in the Yankees system, working on a 5-game hitting streak. And he sends the first pitch into right. Bird will make the play for out number 2.
He didn't waste any time. Torres coming at him. Saw the first pitch strike to the first hitter. He says, you know what, I'm going to take a shot. See if I can't shoot one the other way.
So with 2 away here is center fielder Andrew McCutchen. Getting set for his 3rd All-Star game. He's the first Pirates position player to go to 3 straight All-Star games since Bobby Bonilla 2 decades ago.
Wow. And Bobby Bo played on some pretty good teams, and you know, this guy really does anchor this squad. You know, you think about the different people they have now, and they're more of a complete club, but this guy is still the guy because he's their best player, plays hard every single day. It's good to see him going back to the All-Star game where you know he's going to have a good time.
Finished 3rd in National League MVP balloting a season ago. Batting .301 this season. Scored the winning run in last night's game at the bottom of the 11th inning on the Jordy Mercer base hit up the middle.
I do really like Carlos Torres' delivery here. Looks pretty smooth and effortless. Almost has a little Mariano Rivera kind of cut to it.
Deep right, Bird. Warning track, he's got it. Busy bottom of the first inning for the Mets right fielder Marlon Bird.
I think he just tied a record right there with 3 putouts in an inning. Pretty sure of that.
Sponsored by Ford and their spectacular summer sales event. And by Taco Bell. Sometimes you gotta live Moss. Look at Point State Park as we welcome you back. Top of the second inning. Kenny Albert, Bill Ripken. Pirates winning last night 3-2 in 11 innings. Bill, isn't it amazing whenever a player makes 3 putouts in 1 inning, he leads off the next half inning?
It always works that way. When you make 3 very average routine plays, you get to lead off the next inning. Usually you do something good when that happens.
And Marlon Byrd has been hot at the plate.
He's putting together a pretty good year. It's not the most, I guess what you would say, textbook type of swing. Kind of goes down, looks like he's trying to launch a lot of things, but he's been squaring some balls up and putting some pretty good power numbers together.
He was invited to spring training as a non-roster invitee, and he leads the Mets in both home runs and runs batted in.
It's pretty good use of a non-rostered invitee by the Mets, I would say.
Byrd with a big grand slam earlier this week in San Francisco as the Mets swept the Giants. Byrd just 2 for 15 lifetime against Burnett. Now 2 for 16.
Yeah, it's an uncomfortable at bat off a right-hander and A.J. Burnett with right-hand hitters. Now that was a hanging breaking ball right there that he got for the grand slam. Definitely a little bit different of a breaking ball than A.J. Burnett just threw.
His 7th career grand slam.
Wow.
97 home runs in his major league career. 7 have come with the bases full, and that is the highest percentage of career home runs that are grand slams among active players.
I'm pretty sure Marty gave you that biscuit, didn't he?
He gives us most of the good ones, but not that one. Nice job by Burnett, quickly off the mound to retire Kirk Neuenhuis as Bill gives an early plug to our statistician Marty Aronoff. 2 away here at the top of the second inning.
Look at AJ jump off the mound right here, and what I like about that is he backhanded it and set himself. A lot of times pitchers will get into the panic mode when they pick it up and throw it down the right field corner for a single and 2-base error. He really set himself, made a nice play.
So quickly 2 away here in the top of the second. John Buck, who got off to an outstanding start, hit 9 home runs during the month of April. Has 14 and has driven in 46 runs. 4-game hitting streak for Buck, and he takes strike 1.
I'm going to give you a little biscuit here. Buck has 3 homers off of A.J. Burnett. That's no small task, because A.J. Burnett can make right-handed hitters' life very miserable. Guarantee every right-hand hitter in that lineup looking at their left-handers going, get him out of here.
Buck, a large reason why the Mets lead all of baseball in home runs this season from the catcher's position. They ranked last a season ago.
And he got out of the gate. Buck did really well this year.
And when you talk about right-handers against Burnett, Bill, this season they are hitting just 177 against AJ.
That's no fun. He turns his back on you. You're sitting there looking, where's the ball coming out? He just threw one up and in on Buck right there, and effortlessly. It's not a comfortable at bat from the right side off this guy at all.
Two.
And then he paints you down and away with a heater. So now Buck's sitting there going, okay, this guy's throwing one up around my neck, then he can paint me, and now in the back of your mind is that nasty hook. So 1 or 2 pitches that I talked about with AJ, fastball or hook, could get Buck on a punch out here.
Buck with a base hit into right field, so a 2-out single.
Looked like Buck was thinking about the right one. Went to the hook. Another phrase that's overused in baseball, nice piece of hitting, but I'll give it to him. You could see Buck's front side leave a little bit, so he kind of jelly-legged him a little bit. Buck's big enough, strong enough, kept the barrel of the bat in the zone, hit a line drive to right.
5-game hitting streak for Buck. So with the runner on first and 2 outs, the Mets shortstop Omar Quintanilla. Quintanilla batting .240. He was 0 for 4 in last night's game. First pitch, base hit left field. So back-to-back singles for Buck and Quintanilla, as the pitcher Carlos Torres will come to the plate.
That's kind of typical right there. Your 8th place hitter coming up with your pitcher following. Quintanilla is not a guy that's simply going to drive the ball out of the ballpark. AJ said, can I get you out with one pitch? That'd be okay. If not, if you get a hit the other way, I'll take my chances with the pitcher hitting next.
First at bat this season for Torres. He has 2 hits in 12 career at bats in the major leagues. 2 on, 2 out. Top of the 2nd inning at Pittsburgh. And Torres swings at the first pitch. Coming out to make the play is the right fielder Tabata. And the Mets are retired. They strand 2 in the 2nd. There's Pedro Alvarez, the New York native. He will lead off for the Pirates when we return. Went deep on the first pitch he saw last night. Major League Baseball, great times are waiting. Grab some buds. Bottom of the 1st inning last night on the first pitch from Jeremy Hefner to Pedro Alvarez. Alvarez goes deep center field, his 24th home run of the season.
Not a bad pitcher's pitch either. It looked like down and away. Alvarez went down there and smashed it left of center field.
Only Carlos Gonzalez has more home runs in the National League. Gonzalez, the man that Alvarez will replace.
Got a little pinky problem on his hand.
David Wright, captain of that National League Home Run Derby squad.
Captain America, captain of the National League Home Run Derby squad. Just captain. We'll just shorten it captain from now on with David Wright.
Alvarez excited to be heading home to New York for the All-Star festivities. The 0-2 from Torres, missing low and inside. And of course, some of his teammates after the decision by David Wright initially. Here's a tweet from A.J. Burnett. Will somebody explain to me how Pedro Alvarez is not in the Home Run Derby?
Does the National League want to win? Question mark. I tell you what, on paper, when you look at the Home Run Derby, I think American League's favored. But that's on paper. We know we don't play this game on paper. We don't hit Home Run Derby on paper.
Cano, Davis, Fielder, Cespedes.
Yeah, and Davis with, what, 36 bombs now? My goodness.
Fielder, the defending champ.
And he's won 2, so you know he understands the rigors of the home run derby. But you know what, Alvarez, he should fare well in this because I'll guarantee his normal BP, he's swinging from the heels anyway. That's just what he does. I'm going to hit some homers.
Payoff pitch. Just foul.
That was almost a thing of beauty right there. Does it get off me? Almost double.
"24 home runs for Alvarez. Prior to the All-Star break, only Willie Stargell,
Would you
who
say
hit 30 twice.
Would you say he's keeping good
more
company with those names? As soon as when you throw those names into the mix with Alvarez, it's a good deal.
He grew up in Washington Heights in New York, not too far from the George Washington Bridge, as well as Yankee Stadium. He was actually a Red Sox fan. His dad rooted for the Red Sox. Pedro said watched a lot of Met games as well, attended some Met games as a youngster. Third straight foul, and I had a nice chat with Pedro prior to the game. He said he went with his Little League team to Shea Stadium when he was 8 years old, and that was his first time on a Major League field, and he could not believe how different the grass was at Shea Stadium than the fields that he played on during his Little League days.
Yeah, and I think that's pretty impressive because when you think about big league stadium fields, I think it's the best grass going. I really do. There's some golf courses out there. I'm sure they're well manicured. There's something about a baseball field, and when you can walk out on that field and see that grass, it's like an explosion of colors sometimes when you walk into a big league venue for the first time, and part of it is the green grass that you get to look at.
He said he'll never forget that initial feeling walking out through the tunnel at Shea Stadium for the first time. 10th pitch of the at-bat. Right field, Bird, warning track. He's got it. So 4 Pirates have come to the plate. They have all flied out to Marlon Byrd as we head to the MLB Network studios for a game break. Matt Vescursion.
Kenny, the White Sox and Phillies were rained out yesterday. First of 2 today, top of the 11th, and Alexi Ramirez doubles in the go-ahead run. Chicago denies Philly getting back to 500 for the first time in over a month. Kenny and Bill, back to you guys in Pittsburgh.
Thanks very much, Matt. Phillies 3.5 games ahead of the 4th place Mets in the National League East. Here's Russell Martin. Martin playing in his 999th Major League game tonight.
Good. Don't take a day off tomorrow then. Let's go ahead and get that thing out of the way. Play 1,000.
We've talked about what Martin has meant to this Pirates club. Clint Hurdle told us he's probably been the most impactful among all the newcomers. I asked him who the biggest surprise has been, and Martin is the first name he mentioned as far as the impact that he has had.
Yeah, and I think when you looked at the existing position players, I already talked about McCutchen out center field. Your best player busts his rear end every single day. That means something. But Russell Martin coming in and really controlling the pitching staff and shoring up a position behind home plate has been huge for this club this year.
Full count. Payoff pitch from Torres, and Martin down on strikes. First strikeout for Carlos Torres.
It's a nasty little breaking ball he's got right there. He's been pretty much 87 to 91 with different degrees of tilt on that little cutter or little slider or whatever he has. See the rotation on that? Dip down and away on a 3-2 pitch? That's nasty.
We have 2 away. Here's Garrett Jones. Pirates first baseman, 0 for 3 in last night's game. Just 1 hit in his last 16 at-bats.
Certainly has the homer capabilities right there. You see with the 8, this is a large human being. And it seems that everybody up and down this lineup for the Pirates, it's not the same guy you see every night, And Garrett certainly has been one of those guys at the right time during this season.
Jones hit 27 home runs last year. Has 8 so far this season.
That little short cut piece again at 89 miles an hour. Little deception that goes with Torres. I mean, that's a true slider. Just slides out of the way. Looks like fastball, 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 slider. Again.
Second straight 1-2-3 inning for Torres. When we come back, we'll chat with All-Star Jeff Locke after these messages from your local Fox station. Young pitching in the National League this season. The Mets, Matt Harvey. The St. Louis Cardinals, Shelby Miller. The Diamondbacks, Patrick Corbin, heading to the All-Star game, as is the Pirates' 25-year-old left-hander, Jeff Locke. Locke set a team record, went 16 starts without a loss. That streak finally came to an end on Monday. Record of 8-2. And Jeff joins us live from the Pirates dugout as Eric Young Jr. leads off for the Mets here in the top of the third inning. Now, Jeff, first of all, thanks for joining us as Burnett delivers to Young, who walked and stole second his first time up. Now, Jeff, the Pirates announced before the game that you will not make your scheduled start tomorrow against the Mets due to back tightness, and you will not pitch in the All-Star game. However, you will still go and take part in all the festivities. So how excited are you?
Oh, I'm very excited. You know, it's a great opportunity, for me to get out there and meet some of those guys and, just have some fun. It's going to be a good time.
Hey, Jeff, I know you're excited about being there and will enjoy that, but also on the other side of it, how disappointed are you that you won't be able to maybe get an inning in?
It's kind of disappointing at first, but I'll tell you what, my main focus is here with these guys, and, if I can't go out there and pitch for them tomorrow, I got no part being in that All-Star game.
You're selected by Bruce Bochy as one of the manager's picks. What was your initial reaction when you heard the news?
I didn't know what the manager's pick was. I didn't know if that was a good thing, if that was Clint Hurdle's decision. But come to find out from the guys telling me it's an honor, So especially I didn't even pitch against those guys this year, so maybe word spread a little bit. But I was very happy that Bruce grabbed me, and I'm just honored.
Now, you were the Pirates minor league pitcher of the year last season. You made 6 starts with the Pirates, but in your wildest dreams, back in spring training in March, could you have imagined heading to Citi Field for the All-Star game?
Absolutely not. Definitely not something I set a goal to when the season started. I just wanted to get that fifth spot in the rotation and hang with it as long as I could. You know, anytime you break camp barely getting in, you know that, especially with the rotation we have that's been on the shelf so far, anything can happen. Those guys can come back and, kind of push you right back out. So, like I've told everybody, I'll continue to pitch like I'm the 5 guy, like I'm protecting my job.
Well, Jeff, you're certainly not pitching like a 5 guy with the win-loss and the ERA, but talk a little bit about the staff in its entirety. Here you guys are leading all of baseball in 3 key categories in pitching.
Yeah, it's another honor to be a part of something like that. To come to work every single day and watch these guys go to work, and the kind of experience I've gained from AJ and Liriano and Wandy. We got Morton back, got Garrett Cole up here now. Pretty star-studded team, and you got to just be a part of it.
And talk a little bit more about the work part of it, because Clint Hurdle was telling us about AJ Burnett. He does his thing on the mound for sure, but really works hard and probably sets the tempo for the entire staff.
Absolutely. AJ does so much more than just what's on the field for this team and for the whole organization. And I wasn't sure what we were going to get when I first met AJ. He throws his tattoos at you, kind of his demeanor. You don't really know if you should talk to him or not, or wait till he comes and talks to you. But I'll tell you what, guy's got a heart of gold to do anything to help you. It's been a pleasure of mine this year just to get to know somebody like that and have him help me out in my season.
The Murphy flies out to the center fielder, Andrew McCutcheon. So AJ does talk back when you speak to him, Jeff?
Yeah, he's starting to warm up now.
Now we hear the boos once again for David Wright, and it's been well documented. The home run derby, the initial non-selection of Pedro Alvarez, but I'm sure you're excited to watch Pedro on Monday night along with some of the other big home run hitters in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, anyone that's seen Pedro Alvarez hit a baseball before, you can't tell me you're not excited to see him do it on a stage like that right in his backyard. It should be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. I know, especially he gets to come there and represent this team. That's one thing I'm sure he's the proudest about, and we're all very excited for him.
Wright called out on strikes his first time up. 2 outs, top of the 3rd inning as we chat with Pirates all-star pitcher Jeff Locke. Wright falls behind 0-2. Jeff, originally drafted by the Braves, and I know you spent some time with John Smoltz and some of the other alumni. What did you learn from those guys?
How to golf. John used to come to our spring trainings all the time and speak with the younger guys, and just having a presence like that around camp and just saying, this is what I do to get ready. This is the kind of things I go about every day, and that's the kind of guy when you were over there, you just wanted to idolize him. Everything he did, you wanted to go do. I had an opportunity to pitch with him in Low A Rome one time when he was on some rehab starts, and just an honor to be around someone like that.
We saw a couple of fun facts. Grew up in New Hampshire. Not too many major leaguers come from your home state. I guess Chris Carpenter, Sam Fold, Brian Wilson. How well do you know some of those guys?
There's a New Hampshire baseball dinner every November, and they try to get those guys in. Chris Carpenter's had a lot to do with it over the years. So I've known him since I was about 8 years old. It's a little different now going there as a fan versus going there as a player, guest of honor. But it's been great.
Well, David Wright strikes out. You're going to the All-Star game not as a fan, but as a representative of the Pirates. Best of luck in New York. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate it.
bottom of the third inning. Jordy Mercer leads off against Carlos Torres, who has retired the Pirates in order in each of the first 2 innings. Mercer with the game-winning single last night at the bottom of the 11th inning.
Torres pitching well, and we talked about this in the scouting report. He's been a reliever this year, and he's got to keep going at this one inning at a time. And if he goes 1-2-3, 1-2-3, next thing you know, he's going to be out there in the 6th and 7th. And the Mets really need that after they depleted their bullpen last night.
They used 4 pitchers in the 9th inning alone. Torres did make 12 starts AAA earlier this season, but has pitched out of the bullpen for the Mets until today. Matt Harvey, who we assume has a great shot to start the All-Star game on Tuesday, originally scheduled to start the game tonight. But it was announced earlier this week that it would be Torres. As Wright makes the play, spins, and throws out Mercer for out number 1.
There's the complete ball player in David Wright, too. And we talked about this in the open, how he might get overshadowed by other third basemen. David Wright doesn't have the best arm in the world over there at third base, but look how easy he makes that play and throws him out.
How about that play by David Wright last night?
Yeah, and not the greatest arm strength we talked about, but look at that quick flipper after he catches it. Watch him catch this thing with the bare hand. Next thing you know, that thing's out of his hand in a hurry, going over to first base. Strong, accurate throw. Not a rocket. Just a solid major league arm with good accuracy.
Now, you work with youngsters throughout the year at the Ripken Baseball Academy. What do you teach infielders on a play like that?
Well,
what do you tell them to do?
First thing I do is tell them not to kick the ball straight up in the air like that. Funny. Catch the ball, throw the ball. But look, you stay with every play and you finish it. If you don't catch the ball, use your bare hand to secure it first time. And David Wright certainly did that.
This one gets past Wright. Quintanilla unable to make the play.
Yeah, that's a tough play right there. We're talking about David Wright and how easily he ranged on the play right before that. That one looked to me like it might have caught that grass line and stayed down on him. I couldn't see where that hit from that angle, but it looked like it ran underneath his glove, and it might have been this grass line right here. Yep. So when you're used to a play hitting the dirt, if that hits the dirt, it's going to come up higher, and it looked like it hit where the grass and the dirt were getting ready to meet. Ball skidded underneath his glove. That's a tough play. Should go as a knock.
It does. An infield hit for Barmes. First hit for the Pirates tonight. Wright in on the grass at third as Burnett squares to bunt, takes strike 1. Only 2 hits in 29 at-bats for Burnett this season. Career 114 average. First base runner for the Pirates. Barmes takes his lead off first. 0-2 on Burnett.
I think Torres has a little crossfire in him we're going to look at later, but he also has that deception with that. And I think that ball surprised A.J. Burnett. Only 86 miles an hour. That's probably the lesser speed pitch he's thrown all night. Probably a good pitch to bunt, but there's something about his delivery that's a little deceptive.
The 0-2, Burnett swinging away, and it's a base hit into center field. So the Pirates with runners on first and second as Burnett picks up his 3rd hit in 30 at-bats this season.
It looked like A.J. was going to bunt 0-2 and then pulled it back and swung, and I don't know if this freezes the second baseman enough. I think it did. When A.J. stayed squared, the second baseman had to respect that. Was coming in to cover first base. Ball got slapped up the middle for a knock.
So with 2 on, only 1 out. Here's Starling Marte, fly to right. His first time up, and the fastball is in for a called strike from Torres. 0-1. Marte among the league leaders in numerous offensive categories. 7th in the National League in runs scored. He's 8th in hits. Tied for 2nd in triples with 8. Torres missing inside 1-1.
That was a good fastball right there by Torres. It's like he tried to make a purpose pitch to try to maybe get a jam shot ground ball through that one, 92 miles an hour. Straight fastball, no cut to that one whatsoever.
Pirates struggling with runners in scoring position this season. 2 on, 1 out.
Looks like Torres is finding a little bit extra right now. Got a couple runners on. Knows his responsibility, understands what the bullpen went through last night. He's got to find a way to get out of this. Strikeouts sometimes are overrated in the game because sometimes you want to be efficient with pitches. But when you got a couple men on base and you can punch somebody out, it becomes awful nice.
Tabata on deck. Marte waiting the 1-2 from Carlos Torres. Right field. Long run for Marlon Byrd. And it drops in foul territory, so Marte stays alive.
It's a good battle right here. We talked about Marte being the possible snub at the All-Star game. Certainly a talented kid. Runs well. He's going to be a tough guy to double up. That's why the punch-out might be more of a big factor in this at-bat, especially because if he puts the ball in play, more than likely a runner's going to at least end up on third base.
Vargas the runner on second. Burnett takes his lead off first. A 1-2, and Marte strikes out for the 87th time this season. He's 8th in the National League in strikeouts. Now 2 away. Third strikeout for Torres. Well, you mentioned the potential snub of Marte. Pirates are sending 4 to the All-Star game. McCutcheon, Alvarez, Locke, who will not pitch, and Grilli. First time since 1981, 4 Pirate All-Stars.
And you're putting yourself in pretty good categories right there with those names that you throw up on the board. But the Pirates, you look around, this is a talented team. Clint Hurdle told us this is the best team we've had in a long time here in Pittsburgh. Genuine all-stars going to represent the National League and the Pirates.
You saw the closer Grilli, one of the 4 all-stars.
What a story that is. That's not story, the top 5 stories of the year, I don't know what is. Here's a 36-year-old guy finally getting an opportunity to pitch the back end of games and close games out, and has done it extremely well.
29 saves for Jason Grilli, Seton Hall University product. Ground ball to the second baseman. Murphy throws out Tabata, and the Pirates ran 2 in the 3rd. You are watching Baseball Night in America, presented by Taco Bell. By the makers of One A Day Meds, the official multivitamin of Major League Baseball. And by Chevrolet, find new roads. Kenny Albert, Bill Ripken back in Pittsburgh. We head to the 4th inning. No runs on 2 hits for the Mets. No runs on 2 hits for the Pirates. Middle of the order, Ike Davis will lead off for the Mets against A.J. Burnett as we welcome in live from the Mets dugout last night's starting pitcher, Jeremy Hefner. There he is. Pitched very well last night. Allowed only 2 earned runs, 3 hits in 7 innings, and has pitched well for the Mets this season. Jeremy, first of all, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
So last night, you fall behind early. Pedro Alvarez with the 2-run shot in the 1st inning, but another extra inning game for you guys. You can't stay away.
I know, we can't stay away from them. But, you know, that means we're playing close games and we're competitive and, you know, keep plugging along, and eventually maybe we'll play some 9-inning games.
Hey, Jeremy, is this one of those cases last night we talked about the 2-run homer from Alvarez? You have to tip your hat because I watched that replay. That's not a bad pitcher's pitch.
Yeah, I know. Right when he hit it, I didn't think he even got it, and so it was a little frustrating. But you know, Pedro's a heck of a player, and he's got 24 homers for a reason. So,
ground ball to the right side with the Pirates employing the shift, and Ike Davis rounds out for the 2nd time in tonight's game. So 1 away here in the top of the 4th as we take a look at 3 things you need to know about Jeremy Hefner. He enjoys playing golf. Created the Foley's 405 burger for charity. We'll talk about that with Jeremy. And you were also a Pirate briefly, on paper at least, from November 18th through December 12th,
right,
2011. Then you were claimed by the Mets. First of all, let's talk about some of the charity work. You grew up in Perkins, Oklahoma. That's about an hour from Moore, Oklahoma, devastated by tornadoes earlier this year. And I know you're heading home to Oklahoma during the All-Star break, and you've been heavily involved in some charitable work for the citizens of Moore.
Right, yeah. The first 10 years of my life I lived in Moore, and most of my dad's family is from there. And so, you know, just trying to help people out the best way I can, pull my resources and you know, try to help families out.
Now tell us about the 405 burger.
Yeah, if you're in New York next Saturday after we play the Phillies, we're going to go over there for a couple hours and hang out and have some burgers and you know, sign some autographs and stuff and try to raise money for some families back home.
And that's at Foley's across the street from the Empire State Building in Manhattan.
Yes,
as Marlon Byrd, who struck out his first time up, takes ball 3. And what a job Marlon has done for you guys this season, Jeremy.
Absolutely. You can't say enough nice things about him as a person and as a player. He plays a great outfield, and he's being very productive for us.
Hey, Jeremy, when you think about some of the young pitchers in the game, I look at you guys. You guys got an awful lot of guys under the age of 30 in that rotation. How optimistic are you guys in the New York Mets about the possibilities of that starting staff in the future?
Yeah, absolutely, and I'm looking forward to the second half of the season. You know, we're playing really good baseball right now, and it could have even been better. You know, we lost a couple games, close games, but you know, Harvey and Wheeler, they have unbelievable arms. It's fun to watch them compete, and what they're doing at a young age is incredible.
Yeah, I've been teammates with Harvey in the minor leagues as well. Right. Did we see all that going on in the minor leagues too, where you said this dude is just a beast?
No, sir. We started the year in AAA Buffalo last year, and you know, the fastball, the arm strength has always been there. But I think the emergence of his changeup has been the key for him, and he can throw that to righties and lefties in any count, and that's been the big change that I've seen.
Kirk Neuenhuis at the plate with Marlon Byrd on at first following a 1-out walk, and Zach Wheeler has made 5 starts, Jeremy, for the Mets, coming off a terrific effort earlier this week in San Francisco. How about Wheeler?
Yeah, you know, the arm strength's there with him as well. I haven't got to see him as much as Harv, but you know, I think the consistency with his off-speed pitches. Get up.
That's up.
And it's off the wall. Here's Byrd around third, heading home. Throw to the plate, off the mark. Byrd scores. Neuenhuis drives in his 14th run of the season. The Mets lead the Pirates 1-0.
Jeremy, we talked to Terry Collins before the game as usual, and he talked about one of your later outings last year. You got roughed up, gave up some biscuits, didn't get an out, but then your next 2 outings before the offseason, you pitched well. How important was that for you to throw well in those outings, to go home and think about those outings during the offseason?
Yeah, it was huge for me, and one of those games was against the Pirates, and so that's when I moved from my cutter to more of a traditional slider, and that was a big change in my career, and having those positive outings going into the offseason was huge for me, something to build off of, and I carried that momentum into spring training.
Well, talk a little bit. You were talking about you moved to a traditional slider instead of the cutter. I'm watching Carlos Torres throw. Yeah. I'm kind of in between with him. It looks like a true slider. Right. Some of them are a little bit harder, and it looks like he's got a little deception to boot.
Right. Yeah, and he's a guy that I haven't seen much as well, but just running up in the clubhouse and watching it on TV, I mean, he's got nasty movement. But I think he throws more of a cutter. I don't think he calls it a slider, so call it what you want, I guess.
I've been doing that. Thank you.
0-2 now on John Buck. The battery made of yours, Jeremy, and a tremendous month of April offensively for John Buck. But we'll talk about what both John and Anthony Record have done behind the plate and your work with both catchers.
Obviously John has a lot more experience than Anthony. He swung the bat really well, and he's kind of struggled of late, but his defense has never faltered. And that's been a key for me, having 2 steady rocks back there who guys can block balls, can throw guys out, call good games, do their work preparation wise. They understand how I like to do things and what I do well, and we both work well together.
1-2 on Buck with 1 out. NYN AT at second, drove in the first run of the game after the walk to Marlon Byrd. Omar Quintanilla waits on deck as we continue to chat with Jeremy Hefner, who has allowed 2 earned runs or fewer in each of his last 8 starts for the New York Mets this season. Jeremy, your captain, David Wright, we've been talking about him all night long, heading to his 7th All-Star game. What are his best qualities as a leader that the public doesn't usually get to see?
Wow, I don't know if we have enough time. When I got called up last year, he wasn't, even when I struggled and when I did well, he was always there supporting me. To him, I'm really a nobody. I'm not a big prospect. I came over in a wire transfer, like a business transaction. Like, I'm not really a guy. And so for him to do that gave me tons of confidence. As a guy I was watching whenever I was in college, and admired about the way he goes about his business, and that he's helped me in that aspect in my career.
Here's David in the Mets dugout. John Buck awaiting the payoff pitch from A.J. Burnett as NYN takes his lead off second. Buck down on strikes for out number 2. Jeremy, thanks a lot for joining us. Best of luck with the charitable work in Oklahoma next Saturday, and continued success this season.
Thank you so much, guys, for having me.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Thank you.
We talked earlier about punch-outs being overrated, and we said that AJ's got to be efficient early, and then when he's in trouble, he needs that. He certainly has the capabilities of getting that done. Made Buck chase a wide one. That's a nasty pitch to lay off.
Now the Pirates will walk the number 8 hitter Quintanilla, with the pitcher Torres in the on-deck circle. Quintanilla singled his first time up.
Yeah, Torres came up swinging. First pitch, hit a fly ball to short right field. I wouldn't be surprised, even though it's the pitcher hitting, A.J. Burnett might start him off with a breaking ball this at bat.
So Torres getting ready. He'll come to the plate with 2 on, 2 out for the second straight inning. But first, the game break. Matt Vasgersian take it away.
Kenny, Cubs and Cardinals, one trade candidate supporting another, Alfonso Soriano, in support of Matt Garza. His 7th already this month puts him just 12 shy of 400 for his career. And anybody willing to pick up a big right-handed bat and pay the $18 million he's owed next year, get a hold of Theo Epstein. I believe he's on Facebook. Kenny and Rip, back to you guys.
And that is certainly good news.
Anybody wants to pick up 18 large?
Yes, Bill signs on to his Facebook account. Good news for the Pirates, who trail Cardinals by 1 game in the National League Central as Carlos Torres does, in fact, go up swinging.
Yeah,
falls behind 0-1.
AJ wasn't worried about that first time up when he swung a first pitch fastball. He says, I'm going to throw you one again. See what happens.
Torres grew up in Santa Cruz, California, attended both San Jose State and Kansas State. Originally drafted by the White Sox in the 15th round back in 2004. Fly to right his first time up. Takes strike 2. Carlos spent 7 years in the White Sox organization. Also pitched in Japan 2 seasons ago. Making his first start with the New York Mets here tonight. Nice block by Martin.
Martin's unbelievable back there. He moves so well, and every ball that he blocks doesn't go anywhere. That's hard to do, especially with a sweeping breaking ball like A.J. Burnett, to get that way off of there. This one goes back to John Buck's at bat. Look at that thing. Backhand pick a la Johnny Bench style. Just catching it.
Torres down on strikes. Mets strand 2. They're now 0 for 6 with runners in scoring position, but they take a 1-0 lead as Neuenhuis drives in Bird. The 4th inning here in Pittsburgh on a gorgeous Saturday evening. Final weekend of baseball prior to the All-Star break. All-Star game this Tuesday at the home of the Mets. And Andrew McCutchen will be there as one of 4 Pirates representing the franchise.
I'm talking with him too, because when you look at the All-Star game and you're talking about the nasty factor of these pitchers that are going to keep coming in one after another, and you ask him, is there anybody you don't want to see? He goes, no, it really doesn't matter to me. I'm going to go up there hacking no matter who it is. He's going to hack like that. Torres is having a pretty good ball game right now.
Only 2 Pirates have reached base over the first 3 innings. Torres retired the first 7 batters he faced tonight. McCutchen fouls it off to the right side, 0-2. McCutchen flied to right his first time up. The Pirates' base hits have come from their number 8 and 9 hitters, Marmis and the pitcher Burnett. Two from Torres off the glove of Buck, high and tight. Now 1 ball, 2 strikes.
That was one that got away. That's 84 mile an hour. Buck trying to go out. He looked like he tried to get more bend on that one than what we've been normally seeing. Slipped out of his hand. I think he'll foul that one. It's going to go back to the smaller cut piece. Like that.
Strikeout number 4 for Carlos Torres.
Might have got away with that one a little bit too. You saw Buck sitting out further out away. That one kind of stayed down the middle, but there's something about this delivery. Little deception, a little late movement, whatever it is, because it's not overpowering stuff, but it's definitely good stuff.
Torres has now gone 21 innings in the major leagues this season. He has allowed 1 earned run.
There's that bigger bender right there at 76, so maybe he didn't scrap it. You know, going back to Alvarez hitting here, and we talked to Jeremy Hefner, and I said, you know, you made a pretty good pitch. And he says, you know what? I didn't think he got it when he hit it. In a lot of cases, you can watch the pitcher's reaction. They know first. So that'll tell you how big and strong this guy is, Pedro Alvarez, where he hits a ball where the pitcher doesn't think he got it, and yet he still hits a bomb left of center field.
This time he grounds out to the first baseman Davis for out number 2. Speaking of Jeremy Hefner, have you ever heard a major leaguer prior to Jeremy refer to himself first as I was just a wire transfer, and then I'm not really a guy. I don't know why David Wright paid any attention to me.
I'm just nobody.
I'm a nobody.
What's he doing looking at me? But I tell you what, that is David Wright. If you've had any time around that guy, he seems to do everything right. When you're thinking New York, Derek Jeter plays in the pinstripes, and I immediately think on the other side, it's David Wright. They do everything, I think, on the up and up, and they do everything right.
No pun intended.
Right.
Right.
Correct. I mean, Terry Collins couldn't stop talking about how good of a human being this guy was in David Wright.
And Terry's been around professional baseball for over 4 decades.
An awful lot of players.
He also told us the last 2.5 weeks have been the toughest in his 42 seasons as far as the schedule, the weather, the makeup games, the extra innings. Well, his club off to a good start tonight over the first 4 innings.
Carlos Torres throws like that, it ain't going to be a miserable 2 weeks.
A 10-pitch 4th for Torres.
His knuckleball back to A.J. Burnett in between innings. If it throws it around and you got a good one, show it off. Keep everybody. Oh, that's not spinning too much. Look at that eye, the concentration right there. Homer hitter, knuckleball specialist.
He can do it all.
Looks like it. You know, my brother had a pretty good Scrooging from about 40 feet. Couldn't throw it the full 60 feet because it's too much stress on the elbow.
First pitch of the top of the 5th inning. Eric Young with a single into left field. So Young on for the second time tonight.
Probably going too. And just to close on Junior, if he got a new third baseman over, and he had a lot of new people because he played shortstop for like 1,000 years, he'd drop a Scroogie on him in between innings sometimes, hit him right in the quad. They didn't know it was coming. It was pretty good from short range. Nasty. Drill him, and then he would laugh out.
And your brother is?
Junior. The golden boy.
We have a junior on at first base.
Yes, we do.
Eric Young Jr.
And the way he ran his first time he got on first base, he might not be on first base long.
The golden boy, is that how you
yes.
refer to Cal?
Of course I do.
When you send him a text or leave him a voicemail, does he ever answer your phone calls?
It's rare.
You ever pick up?
It's rare. I play the victim pretty well. You know, I grew up with the golden boy, you know, mom's favorite, the whole 9 yards, but enough. Let's move on. We got a good ball game here.
You were dad's favorite, though, right? Cal Senior?
I don't think so.
No.
AJ certainly altered his motion there, altered his time. He threw over a couple times. And then without doing the no-stop balk, kind of quick pitch right there. Didn't pick his foot very, very high. Froze EY in his tracks over there at first base.
Goal was 16th of the season back in the first inning.
Had him leaning a little bit right there. And this is the responsibility of the pitcher. We talked about Russell Martin and him throwing out runners. But if you don't give them a chance, they have no chance. And AJ really has to understand that EY here, if they get 2 runs the way Torres is pitching, might be too much. Did a good job just holding the ball right there. The longer you hold the ball as a pitcher, and if the hitter doesn't call a timeout, it almost freezes the base runner at first base. It's kind of like a 100-meter dash. If the guy with the cadence shooting the gun off waits a long time, you see a lot of false starts, or you see people not get out of the gates well. You can really anchor a guy at first base if you hold the ball as the pitcher. This is a close play at first base right here. You can see he got back in.
One to Murphy, base hit center field. Young on his way to third. So the Mets with runners on the corners with nobody out here in the 5th inning. Daniel Murphy extends hitting streak to 7 games.
And you wonder, right there, speed makes a difference, and you wonder if AJ's focus was completely on EY at first base. He doesn't pick his foot up as high. The breaking ball looked like it kind of rolled up to home plate. Now you're in a first and third situation. He certainly handled David Wright his first 2 times up extremely well. You wonder what's going through David Wright's mind, because the 2 punch-outs in the first 2 at-bats was abuse, both times. And when you abuse a hitter of David Wright's caliber, it tells you a little bit of something about A.J. Burnett's stuff. It's really good.
2 strikeouts tonight. Right now, 3 for 20 against Burnett in his career. Fouls off the first pitch, 0-1.
Let's look at those the rip of pitches, the first 2 at bats. Fastball paint, yanks the fastball. Breaking ball freezes him. Breaking ball freezes him again. The second time up, it looked like he went predominantly fastballs. It goes to a 2-2 count, and then he's going to snap one off on him to finish him off again. And there was no surprise to me. The first pitch right there David Wright saw was a fastball. He was going to be swinging. He didn't want to get himself in that 2-strike count again, because this guy's stuff is pretty darn good.
12-game hitting streak for David Wright. First and third, nobody out. Mets with a 1-0 lead.
guarantee David Wright's thinking right now, I cannot miss that pitch, because he's back in the same situation he's been in. I don't know if he's going to be stubborn enough to say, you know what, he's throwing me a hook here because he's abused me twice on it, so let me look for it. But this is the most uncomfortable at bat. You mentioned he's 3 for 20 off of this guy. Obviously, he doesn't pick up the ball very well off A.J. Burnett.
The 1-2. Bounce to the third baseman, Alvarez, to throw home. Out at the plate is Young.
This is a heads-up play by Alvarez. It really is. First and third in this situation. Ball's chopped off the plate or near the plate. He knew he wasn't going to go around the corner. Look where he's playing, number 1. He's deep. They're going to play for 2, but as soon as he charged it, he said, I got to go. Eli may have been in there, but that is such a heads-up play by Pedro Alvarez. This is really the only option he had when he was coming that hard. Let's try to get the out at home. Russell stayed there, held his ground, may have blocked him off the plate. Eli may have gotten underneath, but the fact of the matter, in my opinion, is Alvarez had one play. He came home with it. That's a good play.
He did not throw a knuckler home.
No. Then Eli's in for sure.
He had a nice job by Martin, as you said, blocking the plate with his left cleat.
And a lot of times catchers have been, getting dumped at home plate. They might catch the ball a little bit further out in front of home plate. And I think what happened there with Russell staying there holding his ground, he gave the illusion he's blocking the plate here. So I got him blocked off. He's not getting in. Whether he got his foot in there, that's questionable. Still a good play.
The first and second, 1 out. Ike Davis has grounded out twice tonight. He's now 0 for his last 8, 5 for 23 since returning from AAA.
Man, Ike's really scuffled this year. Hopefully, he finds it. Maybe instead of having 30 different hitting coaches, because I guarantee if he goes in and gets a cup of coffee somewhere, the guy behind the counter tells him what he's doing wrong. He could hang out with his friends. They're telling him, this is what you used to do. This is what. So he's got so many people climbing inside his scully. I think he's got to kick everybody out and just go back to what he used to do and say, you know what, I'm going to hit. Leave me alone, let me go.
There's Young, who is tagged out at the plate by Russell Martin. Runners on the move, thrown down to third. Safe at third is Murphy, right to second on the double steal.
Yeah, and that was a very good jump off of second base, too. Look at this one. A.J. turns his head away. Murphy decided, I'm going to get at least that big jump off the base, and when A.J. never looked back, he was off and running.
So the Mets have stolen 3 bases tonight. And base runners are now a perfect 16 for 16 with A.J. Burnett on the mound this season.
Yeah, and A.J.'s never been a guy to hold runners on very well. His stuff is so good because he says you can't steal home on me.
2-2 to Davis, and that is strikeout number 7 for Burnett.
And that's kind of the point. If A.J. loses focus on the hitter, I think he did that earlier, and you see that swing right there. That's a nasty breaking ball. But I think earlier in this inning is when he did have so much focus on EY that he rolled a breaking ball up there. They ended up first and third.
So the 3 and 4 hitters, Wright and Davis, now a combined 0 for 6 tonight. Here's Marlon Byrd, who walked in the 4th inning, came around to score the only run of this game so far when he was driven home on the double by Neuenhuis. Second and third, 2 out.
Reached back and got a little extra at 94 right there.
That's now 0 for 8 with runners in scoring position tonight.
It kind of jumped out at me because I haven't thought that A.J. had that many people out there. You know, when you're thinking about it, A.J.'s pitched a pretty good ball game so far. Looks like he's got good stuff. Throwing hard.
Mets have left 5 men on base over the first 4 innings. 2 base runners here with 2 outs. Top of the 5th inning. Mets lead 1-0. One to Bird up the middle. Safe at first is Bird. Bird beats it out. Murphy scores right to third. Mets now lead 2-0.
Yeah, it looked like Barmes didn't get a hold of it cleanly. Went up the middle and made a nice play. But then in the transfer, yeah, you got caught traveling just a little bit. And give Bird credit right here. He didn't give up on that. Didn't pout. He broke his bat, hit a ground ball up the middle. Getting after it up the line. Look at him, put his head down right here. Nice job. Didn't lunge at the bag, ran through it. And here's that little double clutch right here. Didn't get it clean out of the glove. Caused a little bit of a double clutch. That was the difference. Give Bird some credit right there.
So Bird scored the Mets' first run, drives in the second. New York now leads 2-0. Here's Neuenhuis, who doubled in Bird. Back in the 4th inning, takes strike 1.
Even though AJ's given up 2 right here, I really like the way he looks. He's come back from that calf injury. Had 1 outing. Looks like his velocity's real good. Looks like his breaking ball's real good. Pirates haven't given him any run support to deal with.
And that has been the case throughout the season. Pirates have scored only 3 runs per 9 innings in Burnett's starts. That's the 3rd lowest for a starting pitcher in the National League.
But knowing AJ a little bit, he's not out there complaining about it. He understands what his job is, to go out there and pitch.
Oh, 1 to Neuenhuis up the middle. Barmes this time able to make the play, but the Mets score a run on 3 hits. Now lead the Pirates 2-0. Is sponsored by Universal Pictures' new film R.I.P.D. in theaters Friday. Mets now lead the Pirates 2-0. 2 runs on 6 hits for the Mets, no runs, 2 hits for the Pirates. as Garrett Jones leads off here in the bottom of the 5th inning against Carlos Torres, who has been outstanding for the Mets tonight, replacing Matt Harvey, who was initially scheduled to start the game. And over the first 4 innings, Torres has thrown only 58 pitches, retired the Pirates in order in 3 of the 4, and has allowed only 2 base runners.
Yeah, this is exactly what the doctor had ordered for the Mets. Going through the bullpen the way they did last night in the extra frames. Torres pitching extremely well out of the bullpen. And now starting this game, he's getting after it.
Jones struck out his first time up. He'll be followed by Mercer and then Vargas. 7th career start for Torres. 3rd time he has struck out at least 5. His previous 6 starts came as a member of the Chicago White Sox. His last on August 3rd, 2010 against the Tigers. He allowed 5 runs in 6 innings. So far tonight, no runs on 2 hits through 4.
Yeah, and there's that mini slider or cutter, whatever you want to call it. It's firm. It's got good movement. That one didn't get location, though.
Long run for the center fielder, Neuenhuis. He could not get to it. And at second with a double is Jones. Only his 2nd hit in his last 18 at-bats. A leadoff double for Garrett Jones here in the bottom of the 5th inning.
Yeah, and I think he's been burying that in. You see Buck sitting in. That's a cut piece that stays in the middle of the plate. Garrett Jones hits that in the left center field. Had a little initial begging going on. He's going, come on, man, get down. And once he saw it, he thought he was going to get down. He got on his horse, gets to second base for a double.
Only the 2nd runner past first base for the Pirates tonight. Here's Jordy Mercer, grounded out to David Wright, his first time up. Mercer out of Oklahoma State, 3rd round pick back in 2008. And he's done a nice job for the Pirates this season.
Been pretty versatile for him.
Base hit down the right field line. Around 3rd, Jones. He's heading home. Pirates are on the board as Mercer, who drove in a game-winning run last night in the 11th inning, drives in the first Pirates run tonight, his 13th RBI of the season, cutting the Mets lead in half.
And Jordan was rewarded right here for doing the right thing, trying to get the runner over. Even though it's a 2-0 game, getting the guy over to 3rd base and possibly getting a run in, you cut it in half. He's rewarded. Ball goes down the right field line. Strong throw by Bird, keeps him at first base. But I like that. Doing the right thing sometimes is the right thing.
And for
Did
Torres,
that make any sense right there, Kenny?
it was spectacular.
No, that was like some rambling stuff.
He's a rambling man.
Whatever.
But for Carlos Torres, Bill,
He gave up
only his 2nd run he has allowed in 22 innings, 2nd earned run.
What's wrong with him?
Vargas an infield hit back in the 3rd inning. We saw Matt Harvey in the Mets dugout a moment ago, the initial scheduled starter for tonight's game. There's Matt. Through a bullpen session yesterday. Terry Collins told us it went well. The blisters no longer an issue.
So let's see, if he threw a bullpen session yesterday and he's healthy, there's a game coming up on Tuesday that could be, have his name on it. There could be, couldn't there? It's a big one.
Well, Bruce Bochy, the manager of the National League squad, asked about a potential starter. And he would not definitively answer the question during the week, but he did say the kid's had a special year. I know he's from New York. All that's been discussed, but I will leave it at that. 3rd consecutive hit for the Pirates as Vargas singles into left field. Mercer moves to 2nd, so after Torres allowed only 2 base runners the first 4 innings, 3 consecutive hits off Torres here in the 5th.
Yeah, and you wonder, too, because Torres has been pitching out of the bullpen. Even though he started at AAA, he doesn't have the arm strength build up. Possibly fatigue's coming in, because what happens is sometimes you don't see it in the miles per hour, but you see it in the middle of the plate. You don't finish your pitch, you don't hit your spots. And right now it looks like Pirates are having some pretty good ABs off of him.
A visit from pitching coach Dan Worthen. We check out the Fox Sports 1 pitcher comparison, presented by Fox Sports 1, America's new sports network, coming August 17th. He breezed through the first 4 innings, but has allowed 3 straight hits to start the 5th. On the other side, Burnett has allowed 2 runs through 5, and he struck out 7. Torres has thrown 70 pitches. Burnett 82 so far. And all 5 Pirates hits have come from the bottom 4 in their order tonight.
Yeah, and that's not the typical way you go about it. Usually your first 3 guys are going to set the table for you. But this team, this Pirate team, even though they haven't scored as many runs as they could, sometimes they are pretty balanced. It's not the same people. AJ's going to try to get this bunt down, get 2 guys in scoring position.
You saw David Archibald throwing in the Mets pen. Remember, Burnett came up with a runner on first and 1 out in the 3rd inning, squared to bunt twice, took a couple of strikes, and then swinging away, singled up the middle.
Did the Butcher boy, showed bunt, pulled it back, and then hit a base hit. I don't think that's what he wants to try to do again, even though it's 0-1. He wants to get this thing down. You want to make David Wright field this thing to get the runner at least to 3rd base.
Remember, during his first spring training with the Pirates last year, Burnett suffered a pretty major injury while attempting to bunt.
Yeah, and it seemed very relaxed bunting practice in the cage. The cage was around him. Ball comes in, he bunts it off his cheekbone. Probably still has some lasting memories of that. I'm sure that didn't feel very good. And I know a lot of my career I had to square around and bunt. Got hit in the head 1 time doing it. And when you're in this position, you are exposed. And he's been throwing cutters and balls away from a lot of these hitters. That one stayed up and in on AJ. It makes you think about it a little bit.
Who hit you, do you remember?
Joel Davis, Chicago White Sox. That was 1,000 years ago.
2-1. Burnett lays down the bunt. So Burnett does his job. Both runners advance.
His first bunting attempts, his first at bat and the first pitch of this at bat, not necessarily textbook. This one almost perfect on the execution. Look how the barrel of the bat pretty much stays above the hands, very important. Deadens this thing down the 3rd base line. Bat out in front of home plate. Everything about that bunt was right.
So Mercer now on 3rd. Barmes takes his lead off 2nd. 1 out. 1 run in here in the 5th. Top of the order, Starling Marte. 0 for 2, struck out his last time up. Appeal down to 1st, and ball 1, says Manny Gonzalez.
It's like a little book on Marte is they want to come in on him. Carlos hasn't thrown too many straight fastballs in on the right-hand hitters, but Marte, he has.
Bottom of the order has gotten the job done for the Pirates tonight. Top 5 are all 0 for 2. 1 and 2.
Once again, Buck's trying to come in. That must be the book that the Mets have on it. In early maybe and then late away, or away late to try to get a punch out, but he's throwing some good fastballs in on Starling this game.
Does strike out a lot, as we mentioned earlier. 87 times so far this season. 2nd and 3rd, 1 out. 1-2 pitch. So Marte heads down to first. The bases are loaded.
Yeah, certainly no intent there. Trying to crowd him in with fastballs. Got to the 1-2 strike. This one hits him square. You can tell when the baseball drops straight down. That's not a glancing blow. Hit him on the good part of the arm. And that's easy for me to say sitting up here, but 90 miles an hour, even on the meat, that's going to leave a mark.
15th time he has been hit this season, second in the National League.
That just tells me there's a lot of people's book on how you pitch him. You got to get him in. And it doesn't look like he budges much either. He stays there and is willing to wear one.
Tabinet with the bases loaded. He is 0 for 2 tonight. Double play ground ball. 6-4-3. Torres out of the inning, allows only 1 run in the 5th. With the bases loaded, Tabinet grounds into the double play. The reaction of the catcher, John Buck. 2-1 Mets through 5. The helpful place and by Ford and their spectacular summer sales event. Back in Pittsburgh on Baseball Night in America. Kenny Albert, Bill Ripken. Mets lead the Pirates 2-1. Bottom of the order for the Mets here in the 6th. It will be Buck, Quintanilla, and the pitcher Torres due up. A.J. Burnett over the first 5 innings has allowed 2 runs on 6 hits. He has struck out 7 Mets in his second start back from the disabled list. He's won his last 3 starts against the Mets, all with the Yankees. During his 10 seasons with the Marlins and the Blue Jays, he went 2-6 against the Mets.
Yeah, and not only did he win the games when he was with the Yankees, he pitched extremely well too, because I think winning the game one way or another, you look Yankees-Mets in the interleague play, okay, has been a little bit of a mismatch over the past few years, but he's thrown the ball extremely well against the Mets and is doing so tonight as well.
Well, those 3 games as a member of the Yankees against the Mets, in Burnett's 3 starts, the Yankees outscored the Mets 27-3.
Okay, he got run support, but he didn't give up anything either. See, look at the 1-3-3 Ernie. I knew he threw the ball well against him, Kenny. Don't be trying to bait me into this.
Now, of course, this year, Bill, a different story. Mets swept the 4 games from the Yankees. But Burnett had nothing to do with that.
No, it had nothing to do with it. That's a moot point, Kenny. I like the way the ball's coming out of AJ's hand tonight. I really do. Felt behind 3-0 right there. There is a nice release that he has. I like his fastball. I like his breaking ball. Unfortunately, on the other side of the ledger, Carlos Torres is throwing a little bit better. We mentioned Buck has 3 homers off of AJ. You're sitting in the driver's seat 3-1 right here. You might see a big swing from the big man right here if he gets something he likes.
Here comes the 3-1. Burnett missing away. Issues a leadoff walk to the Mets catcher, John Buck. Well, at least this has not happened to A.J. Burnett tonight. Exploding rosin bag. This was opening day.
And that's a home game. That's his home rosin bag.
And then, this past Sunday at Wrigley Field, it happened again.
Now I'm thinking somebody's messing with him.
And you saw him look to the dugout, hold up 2 fingers. It's happened twice this season to A.J.
And nobody knew it either. He called timeout, wanted to get the umpire out there. He had to pick the rosin bag up and show him again that it was leaking. Not leaking, exploded.
The exploding rosin bag trick. You would never think about doing that to a teammate, would you?
When you see that rosin bag, there is a closure on one end. So I would think that A.J. would learn, and from now on, you pick it up from the end that's closed and start banging. If it breaks, it's in your hand. You don't know it.
What was the best prank that you were ever involved in that you talk about on the air with a teammate?
I was not a prankster. A lot of people assumed I was because I was a little bit outgoing. I was more just loud, obnoxious. If anything needed to be said or I wanted to say anything, I did it. But I was never in the prank mode.
Good to see you have changed.
No, I'm just loud and obnoxious. Now, Roger McDowell, I believe historically, is more of the prankster and did a few things. And there was something with a bathroom and firecrackers that I was kind of a part of, but not knowing I was a part of it. So I was the victim in one of those things. But Roger had some ideas up his sleeve.
So you were the victim.
Victim.
Roger McDowell, of course, now the pitching coach with the Atlanta Braves. Member of the Mets during their glory days in the mid-'80s. And I remember
I was a teammate of his with the Orioles.
Some hot feet in the dugout?
Yeah.
At the hands of Roger McDowell?
Firecrackers in the bathroom with the stalls and I'm just letting your imagination run here. Literally scared the out of you from time to time.
But no exploding rosin bags.
No. Roger was more creative than that.
Quintanilla has reached base twice, singled in the second, intentionally walked in the fourth. Buck the runner on first, nobody out. The 3-1. Quintanilla shoots this one into left. Marte makes the catch, one away.
You kind of look at the pitch count now on AJ at 92. You got to believe after the calf injury he had 1 outing and now he's coming back. You're probably looking at him trying to get through this inning and then letting Clint Hurdle turn this thing over. I don't know how much past he's going to go here. He walked Buck when it was 3-2, fell behind Quintana 3-1. So maybe you're getting close to the edge here and you're getting around that magic number of 100, just being his second outing back.
And now he will face a pinch hitter, Jordani Valdespin, batting for the pitcher Carlos Torres, who goes 5 in his first major league start since 2010. 1 out, top of the 6th. Strike 1 to Valdespin, who's batting just 189 this season, 3 for 28 as a pinch hitter.
And I would imagine the Mets might want to get a little greedy and think, boy, couldn't Carlos give him a 6? But giving him 5 and with a lead, in a spot start role where he's only been thrown out of the bullpen up here at the big league level, pretty impressive outing for him.
You saw Justin Wilson up at the Pirates pen. 0-1 to Valdespin. Fouls it off to the left side. 0-2. David Ardsma. Mets used 5 relief pitchers yesterday, including 4 in the 9th inning. Ardsma pitched an inning in the 3rd, came on in the 8th. Valdespin, pinch hitting for Torres, down on strikes, 8 strikeout for Burnett.
AJ certainly didn't have a problem with pitch count there. That's 3 pitches. Nasty breaking ball right there. His stuff is there. So it's possible AJ gets out of it right here. They might throw him back out there for 1. But I think you're kind of pushing that when you're thinking about his second start back after the calf injury. Did not go on a rehab assignment down to the minor leagues, and I think everybody with the Pittsburgh Pirates was way okay with that. If he says I'm ready to pitch here and I can help this ball club, he certainly is doing that.
He went 5 innings in his first start back on Sunday against the Cubs in Chicago. With 2 outs, Eric Young Jr. with a base hit into right center. Buck around second, heading for 3rd. Second hit of the game for Young. He's on base for the 3rd time, and the Mets have runners on the corners with 2 outs and a big smile on Young's face.
Jerry Collins was talking about what a lift Young's been. Coming in here and being a more of a prototypical leadoff hitter, creating a little bit of havoc. Well, there goes Clint making the move.
So that will be all for A.J. Burnett. He goes 5 2/3. Clint Hurdle calling for the left-hander Justin Wilson. With the Mets leading the Pirates 2-1. Burnett exits with runners on 1st and 3rd. 2 out. You're watching Baseball Night in America, presented by Taco Bell. League Baseball celebrating a new season for new memories. For your chance to win a community field makeover and an all-new 2014 Impala, visit ChevyBaseball.com. 25-year-old left-hander Justin Wilson out of the bullpen with runners on 1st and 3rd, 2 outs to face Daniel Murphy, who takes a called strike, 0-1. Wilson ranked 2nd among National League relief pitchers, 51 innings pitched so far this season for Wilson. And there's Burnett through 96 pitches, over 5 2/3.
Justin came in with some easy 97 right out of the gate. Wow. Another 96 in on the hands.
Murphy singled in the 5th, extending his hitting streak to 7 games. Behind in the count, 0-2.
If he wants to get a knock here in this at bat, oh, but Justin, he's got his work cut out for him. Some nasty stuff right here.
Lefty against lefty, the 0-2, blocked by Martin.
Once again, Russell Martin goes to his knees, puts the chest protector in front of it, and just relaxes somehow and deadens the baseball. Blocks it, it just stays right at his feet. Pretty impressive.
One, two to Murphy, uncalled strike 3. So the Mets strand 2 as Justin Wilson does the job with Burnett watching from the Pirates dugout. Middle of the 6th in Pittsburgh. Still 2-1 Mets.
America game break. Cards and Cubs. Alfonso Soriano has homered, and so has Luis Valbuena. Matt Garza pitching well tonight, trying to improve to 5-0 over his last 6 starts. Cubs on top 6-1 in the 6th. Rangers and Tigers, and if Max Scherzer is going to become the 4th pitcher in the modern era to start the season 14-0, he'll need some help. Mitch Moreland's 13th of the year had him down 3-zip. It's now 4-1 Rangers in the 7th as we get you back to Kenny and Bill in Pittsburgh.
All right, thanks, Matt. Max Scherzer at 13-0, first since Roger Clemens back in 1986, and American League All-Star.
Got some nasty stuff, too. 3 ERA, but I love his punch-outs. Doesn't walk anybody, comes right at you. Got a power change-up.
Here's David Ardsma, the 31-year-old right-hander, on in relief of Carlos Torres. He will face the heart of the Pirates' order here in the 6th inning as McCutchen backs away from the first pitch. Ball 1. McCutchen 0 for 2. Struck out his last time up. Pirates scored a run in the 5th. They also had the bases loaded, 1 out. As McCutchen goes deep center field, we are tied at 2.
I think that first pitch got his attention. Then he says, you know what, I'm 1-0, I'm in a good count, I'm going to look out over the plate. But that's the thing about McCutchen that I think he's really figured out over these past few years. I think early on he thought he could only hit a homer to left field, getting out and pulling it. But he's got power to center and right center. That's fun to watch right there.
Tenth of the season for one of four Pirates All-Stars, Andrew McCutchen. On the second pitch thrown by David Ardsma out of the bullpen.
And I think the first pitch up and in, you know, that's kind of typical for a reliever coming in. He's overthrown a little bit, and that's where you miss sometimes. But I think that put McCutchen in the right count for him to say, you know what, I'm going to get after this. The first pitch to him right here, he just overthrew it. You know, there's no intent there, but it got McCutchen's attention. The next pitch out over the dish, he smashed that ball. That was loud off the bat.
409 feet off the bat of Andrew McCutchen.
You know, McCutchen's having a good year, worthy of going to the All-Star game. He's not on that, like, MVP pace that we've seen him on before. And that's why I think this Pirate team, they show no signs to me of fading like they've done in the past few years, because they have more people on the squad that they can count on. I think in years past, this has been the guy that they've counted on. Now he's just another player, even though he's still their best player, but he doesn't have to carry this squad.
You talked about their second half fades over the last 2 seasons. A combined record of 15 games over 500 prior to the All-Star break. 37 under following the break.
I think that would be a definition of a fade. I don't see that in the forecast with this Pirate team, nor do I think they're even thinking about it.
Now Alvarez with a base hit into the gap and a right center.
Try him. Oh!
Puts the brakes on and heads back to first.
Good job by Bird right there.
So Alvarez extends his hitting streak to 10 games with a base hit off Ardsma.
Here's the situation right here. I think Alvarez read it. If the center fielder gets it, he's got to spin 360 and throw it. If the right fielder gets it and backhands it, he can stop and make that run. So I thought the base running right there by Alvarez, a couple things stop you as a base runner. The coach, not in that case. Marlon Byrd stopped him because he backhanded the ball and came up and made a strong throw. He was going 2 all the way until he saw the throw coming in, put on the brakes, got back to first.
Ball 1 to Russell Martin, who struck out twice against Mets starter Carlos Torres. David Ardsma has thrown 7 pitches. He's allowed a home run and a single.
I'm going to play the prediction game here. I think they're going to put a little play on. We're going to do a little hit and run here. It's not the 2 likely guys with Alvarez at first. Man. Come on, Clint. 1-0 was the pitch to do it. Clint's thinking, what was that? Come on. I'm chewing that gum. If I chew that gum 3 times, it's hit and run. No, it was 4 times. It's not on. If it goes 2-1, they're going to hit and run. Getting out on a limb, Kevin. Oh, there's my limb.
Here we go.
Big limb. I'm out on the end of the branch. Don't let me down. Don't let me down, Clint. Russell Martin can handle the bat. Come on, man. Nope. My limb broke.
To Martin, full count.
Woohoo! Russell was thinking about the downs right there. 3-1 count. He's in the driver's seat, looking for fastball. Gets fastball at a little late sink on it at the end. Like he swung over top of it. Might have pulled off a little bit, slowed his swing down. This is an interesting decision now for Clint. Do you send him, stay out of the double play, or you risk to strike him out, throw him out?
There goes Alvarez. And Martin shoots it into left. Young coming in, makes the play for out number 1. Well, sports' biggest event of the summer is heading to New York. The festivities begin Monday with the Home Run Derby on ESPN. Then Tuesday, the Midsummer Classic kicks off with the Red Carpet Show on MLB Network, followed by the 2013 All-Star Game at 7:30 Eastern, right here on Fox. Four Pirates will be there, 2 Mets. Terry Collins will be a coach on Bruce Bochy's staff.
Yes, he will, and he was talking about it's an honor to do that. You know, he was talking about the last 2.5 weeks has been really hard to travel to make up games. Seems every flight they take, they're getting into the city 3:30 in the morning. But he said, you know what, for me, you asked me to come here and hang around these guys, sit in the locker room with these guys, hang out in the dugout with these guys, I'll be there.
That will be his 2nd consecutive All-Star game. As a National League coach, he was invited to Kansas City last year by Tony La Russa. Remember, La Russa had retired. He was not managing during the season, but because the Cardinals won the National League in 2011, he was the skipper of the All-Star squad. And Terry told us a great story about All-Star game day last year, which we'll get to in a moment as Jones fouls it off. Basically, Terry Collins' phone rang at 11 in the morning on the day of the All-Star game, and Tony La Russa said, let's go. Let's head to the ballpark. And Terry told us that morning, La Russa mapped out the game, basically pitch for pitch. And most of it happened.
The entire game, not the first, not the second, but the entire game and the possible matchups that were going to happen. He said now the only thing they didn't expect to score as many runs early off of Justin Verlander, but he said everything else came through, and he said it was the damnedest thing he's ever seen. That a manager that retired comes back in and lays out the game plan for the All-Star game, and it basically happened.
And Terry will get to do it again this year with Bruce Bochy and the Giants staff. Davey Johnson, who won the World Series as manager of the '86 Mets, the other coach added to the National League All-Star squad by Bruce Bochy. 3-1 to Garrett Jones. Right center. Neuenhuis calls off Bird, 2 away.
You talk about Bochy and Davey Johnson, a couple other really good strategists of the game. I think Bruce Bochy, when you watch what he's done out in San Francisco these past few years, win 2 World Series out of 3, it seems every decision he's made has worked, including putting the freak in the bullpen, coming out in the postseason and doing his thing. So, as Terry Collins said once again, could he use the days off? Yeah, but it's an honor to be a part of this crew coming up here Tuesday in New York.
And he doesn't have to travel home with the Mets from Pittsburgh. But he lives about 10 minutes from Citi Field.
Right. It's a little bit of an off time. But I think anybody out there can imagine if you're in New York and you're managing, whether it's the Yankees or the Mets, there are a lot of things that go into that gig for sure. More so than any other place in baseball.
Terry Collins now in his 3rd season as Mets manager.
And you know, the Mets are not where they want to be right now at 40 and 49. You're in a division with Atlanta and the Nationals. A lot of people talk about them. But this is a team that I've been watching, and it's pretty evident tonight. I mean, they play hard. They get after it. And Terry seems to be pretty pleased about that fact. They get after it night in and night out.
Center field off the bat of Mercer. On the edge of the warning track, it's Neuenhuis who makes the catch, but the Pirates tie the game as McCutchen goes deep for the 10th time this season. Baseball Night in America returns to Pittsburgh after these words from your local Fox station. Danny Albert, Bill Ripken, Mets at a 2-0 lead. Pirates have come back, tied the game at 2. David Wright leads off against Justin Wilson. Wright 0 for 3, struck out twice. Grounded into a fielder's choice his last time up. Mets scored a run in the 4th, a run in the 5th. A.J. Burnett went 5 2/3. The Pirates starter allowed 2 runs on 7 hits. Wilson came on, struck out Murphy with a man on in the 6th. Now Wright grounds out to the shortstop. Barmes leading off in the top of the 7th.
Barmes went in and got that one first time. Really looked like he put his head down on the ball, threw it on the run, but made an effort. That was similar to the Marlon Byrd play up the middle where he didn't get it clean, had to double clutch, but that one looked like he really made the effort to go in there and dig that thing out.
So here's Ike Davis with 1 out. Davis 0 for 3 tonight. Mets saw their 4-game win streak come to an end last night, the 11-inning loss. As we have alluded to, Mets have played a number of long games this season. In fact, over their last 11 games prior to tonight, they played a 13, a 15, a 16, and an 11-inning game.
And it's 2-2 now. Just thought I'd point that out.
I noticed.
Tell you what, we've talked about the Pirates' pitching staff. The fact that they're leading all of baseball in ERA. And you look at these arms coming out, and this is part of the Shark Tank. Justin Wilson coming in just throwing some unbelievable gas. And it doesn't look like he's trying either. Hit 99 the last inning. What a weapon you have if you fall behind. You have a good enough fastball to throw to fastball hitters behind in counts. 96 and 97. I'd sit there going, come on, man. I'm struggling. You're painting me. Number one, you're throwing that hard, and you're painting me to boot.
Two and 2 on Davis. Marlon Byrd waiting on deck. Just foul. Well, next week on Fox Saturday Baseball, it's baseball's premier rivalry as the Yankees take on the Red Sox at Fenway. These Pirates will be in Cincinnati. Braves and the White Sox. Fox Saturday Baseball presented by Taco Bell. Next week, 3:30 Eastern, right here on Fox. Another foul off to the left side.
At 99. I like this at bat for Ike a little bit. Got ahead 2-0. Spit on a couple pitches that were pitcher's pitches. Got back to 2-2. Now he's fouled 2 balls off the third base line to foul. And this is the tough lefty you're going to see right now. I like this at bat he's battling.
Left field.
Still like it. Breaking ball right there. He stayed in on it. I think that's something to build on right there. He's obviously scuffling, but that at bat right there was not an easy one.
So with 2 away, here's Marlon Byrd, who has been involved in both Mets runs tonight. Scored the first, drove in the second. So Byrd now with 50 runs batted in, which leads the squad. He's hit 15 home runs.
He's thinking about gearing it up right here.
First pitch, base hit, left field. So Byrd is on for the 3rd time. It's his 2nd hit.
I mean, that's a veteran guy right there. He knows what this guy's bringing up there. He went up, go up there and jump on his piece of cheese and got him.
And prior to the season, there was a lot of talk about the Mets potentially signing B.J. Upton. They did not. Brought in Marlon Byrd as a non-roster player to spring training. Check out the numbers.
Yeah, I would say at this point in time, I think they made the better choice. That's not to say B.J.'s not going to get it right. That's not going to say he's not going to have a good career and good time in Atlanta. But right now, Marlon Byrd's been dealing this year.
So Byrd on at first with 2 away, top of the 7th inning. Neuenhuis pops it up.
Wow.
And Martin makes the play in foul territory.
That's a get off me for sure right there. That's some good stuff from the lefty.
So Bird stranded. It is 7th inning stretch time here in Pittsburgh. Off the fists of NYN. Tied at 2. Taco Bell, sponsored by Chevrolet, find new roads, and by Bud Light Lime, Limerita, and introducing new Straw Marina. Bottom of the 7th inning, couple of changes for the Mets. They make a double switch. Juan Lagares now in the game in center field. He will bat in the 9th spot. And batting in the 6th spot, Mets' 3rd pitcher of the night, the 30-year-old right-hander out of Duke University, Greg Burke.
Did we just witness a crowd sing-along?
I think we did. Were you singing along?
No, I was not.
Not this time?
I can get up that high, though, when I sing, if you can imagine that.
I would like to hear that.
No, it's not going to happen.
Here's Clint Barmes leading off for the Pirates, bottom of the 7th inning. Barmes 2 for 2 tonight. Burke making his 27th appearance through 6 pitches in last night's game.
I wonder why we can't have a factory to produce more of these submariners, guys throwing from down under. And if we did do that, would that make the ones that do it lose their effectiveness? Because that is the most awkward at bat you can have. Your release point, you're trying to pick up this thing, and when they bend over and throw it from down out of the dirt somewhere, right-handed, your rear end does not want to stay in there.
What was your approach against the sidewinders?
It was not good, I'll tell you that. Look at Burke right here, picks his leg up, everything's conventional. Now the teeter, the big tilt. And he's not definitely down under like others have been, but still, it's so much different than everybody else that it puts you in that little shock zone. And then that happens. That was my approach a lot, Ken.
That was it?
Yeah.
Barmes goes fishing, one away.
And this is kind of what you see, and you see that, and it's herky-jerky to boot. You can see Barmes' rear end wasn't totally committed to staying in there, but that happens when you see a guy. So, like I said, if more people did this, I wonder if we would get more used to seeing it, because it seems like anybody that's doing this that's a specialist, they're pretty effective.
Here's Travis Snyder Pinch hitting for Wilson. Snyder struck out as a pinch hitter last night. Four for 24 with 1 home run, pinch hitting for the Pirates this season.
And usually the left-handers are a little bit of an equalizer on this type of an approach. And the other thing Burke's doing right now, that's firm to throwing sidearm down there. 87 miles an hour. A lot of times you're seeing 80, 82 from down there. It's got a lot of action on it. The arm angle creates the action.
On one hop, it gets past Davis. So 1 out base runner for the Pirates here in the 7th.
And the lefties can equalize that. They're seeing it a little bit longer. They don't want to stay out of there. That Davis is squared up. You see him in the shot, but that's a bullet right there. That was scored a hit, wasn't it? I would hope so.
And now they have changed it to an error on Davis.
Really?
That's surprising.
Wow. That's a missile, and there's been argument out there. I've talked to official scorekeepers. Look at this thing real time. That's a bullet. And I've had discussions with official scorekeepers over the years about certain things. Was that normal? Right there, and they said, well, it's a major league fielder. I know it's a major league hitter that hit it, too. It's not some rummy up there hitting some cork at you.
I agree with you. I would have scored a base hit.
That's a rocket. When it rains, it pours. Look at Ike.
5th error charge to Davis this season. Marte hit by a pitch his last time up. Line drive caught by Wright, throw to first, but not be handled by Davis. And Snyder slides back in safely.
Well, Marte didn't have any problem staying in on this. You talk about another smash. The difference between that one and the one Snyder is this is in the air. I think David got rid of that so quick. But I think he threw a little bit of a dead fish over there, a little bit of a changeup because he was trying to get rid of it so quick. Ike stretched and the ball never got there. It's kind of the same when you're hitting and you're facing a changeup pitcher, you get out in front. That was the same thing right there. Ike's timing was a little bit off because there was a little bit of a changeup that David threw across the diamond.
Tabner grounded into a double play with the bases loaded back in the 5th inning. He's 0 for 3 tonight.
That's 89 from down under, too.
Tied at 2, bottom of the 7th inning. Burke, the 3rd Mets pitcher. Torres, first start of the season of the majors, went 5 innings, allowed 1 run on 5 hits. Arzma allowed a game-tying home run to McCutchen in the 6th. And now it's Burke here in the 7th. Nothing in 2 on Tabata. Snyder, the runner on first. Now 1 and 2. McCutchen on deck. He tied the game in the 6th inning. Snyder around second, and he will hold. So the Pirates with 2 on and 2 out for Andrew McCutchen.
And that's a good job by Snyder right there. You don't want to make the third out of third base right there. Marlon Bird's been playing a real good right field. He's been closing on balls. He's been cutting balls off in the gap. Throws well. You got Andrew McCutchen come up with 2 outs. This is exactly what you want. You don't want to risk a play like that. Possibly get thrown on third base.
Our Just for Men Auto Stop foolproof stat. Andrew McCutchen at home this season, 344 average, 373 over his last 18 games, and a home run here tonight off David Ardsma in the 6th inning. That tied the game at 2. And now McCutchen will face Burke with 2 on and 2 out of the 7th. More hits than anybody in the National League over the last 2 seasons for Andrew McCutchen. There's Josh Edgin, the left-hander. Up and throwing in the Mets pen with lefty Alvarez due up next. 2 on, 2 out. Burke to McCutchen, strike 1.
80-mile-an-hour slider can get it up to 89-mile-an-hour fastball. It's a nice differential to 9 miles an hour. Plus, it sweeps away from the right-hand hitter. It didn't look like McCutchen wanted to waste any time. He's been watching him throw a lot of first-pitch fastballs. He says, I'm going to go get one.
One and 1. Pirates with 55 wins. Only the Red Sox and Cardinals have 4. Alvarez along with McCutchen heading to the All-Star game in New York this Tuesday.
We talk about the Pirates' record. We talked about Jason Grilli being the closer and one of the top 5 stories in baseball. I think that goes hand in hand with the Pirates doing what they're doing. Grilli's one of those reasons. But this team right here, we've talked about it. They're sending 4 guys to the All-Star game. This is far different from years past where you had to send somebody to the Midsummer Classic just because. Now you got legitimate All-Stars going there. "90 miles an hour from down under." Pretty good stuff from Burke. McCutchen's in a fastball count. Little sinker. Didn't catch up to it. And no matter how good McCutchen is right here, I think Greg Burke wants to get McCutchen out because the righty-lefty matchup. With Alvarez on deck.
Off the glove of right into left field. Snyder scores. The Pirates lead for the first time tonight.
Andrew McCutchen, he tied it up with a big ball to center field. Gets the 2-strike, 2-out knock. Drives in the go-ahead run. That's a tough pitch right there. Andrew McCutchen stayed on that breaking ball a long time. David Wright makes a good effort diving for this ball. The fact that it tipped off his glove probably allowed Snyder to score. Slowed it down, doesn't get to the left fielder in time.
That will be all for Greg Burke as Terry Collins will bring in the left-hander Josh Edgin to face Pedro Alvarez. Legends. Don't miss the action of the 2013 All-Star Game this Tuesday at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific, right here on Fox. Pedro Alvarez will be there in his hometown. But first, he must face Josh Edgin, the left-hander who threw 29 pitches in last night's game. Pirates have taken a 3-2 lead here in the bottom of the 7th inning. First and third with 2 outs. Alvarez is 1 for 3 tonight. Hit his 24th home run of the season in the first inning last night.
On a good pitch down and away, smashed it to left of center field. He's a strong human being. You can steal bases, but I'm sitting here looking at this situation. A lot of things can happen that first and third with Pedro Alvarez up. Wild pitch could score a run. I wouldn't anticipate McCutchen running here. Woo. It's a good pass at that. 94-mile-an-hour fastball. That'll tell you he's got a little giddy up too. Alvarez in a fastball count. Bend his ears back, took a swing at it. He's by him a little bit, though.
Alvarez, the New York Player of the Year at Horace Mann High School. Went on to Vanderbilt, 2nd overall pick in the first round by the Pirates in 2008. His family makes frequent trips from New York, Pittsburgh. His dad, when he first arrived in New York, worked in a mattress factory, then drove a taxi in New York for many years.
So then I would feel safe that he can drive from New York to here. I think that'd be okay.
Absolutely.
I think he's qualified. Pedro's having a good at-bat right here. Laying off the breaking ball just off the plate. He's thinking about one thing right now. He's thinking about that 1-0 fastball that he fouled back. He's thinking about looking for it again, I'm sure.
Three-one from Edgin, ball 4, as Edgin misses inside, and for the second time tonight, the Pirates have loaded the bases.
It's a real good at-bat right there by Pedro. Close pitches he took, got back into a hitter's count at 3-1, didn't offer it a ball right there, inside, takes his walk. Russell Martin coming up.
First walk issued by a Mets pitcher tonight. So here's Martin with the bases loaded. He's 0 for 3 in tonight's game. Struck out twice. Ball 1. Now a visit from John Buck. There's Tabata. McCutchen on second. Alvarez on first.
Buck just said you might be overthrowing a little bit. Let's get it back in the zone. You make a quality pitch right here. Even though Russell Martin can swing the bat, we're going to get him out. Still a little confidence. Tell him to take a breath and go back to work. Job by Russell Martin laying off of that one. Looked like a little cutter at 93.
Ball 3-0.
Russell's focus here is to see where the 3-0 pitch goes. He's taking. If it's a strike, he's probably going to try to hone in on that same exact spot if it gets to 3-1 so he can pin his ears back. All 4.
Martin walks on 4 pitches. Tabata comes home and is now a 4-2 Pirates lead. So the Pirates have scored 2 runs in the inning, and now Gabby Sanchez will pinch hit for Garrett Jones.
And Terry Collins will counter that.
So that will be all for Edgin, with the Pirates now leading by 2. His new sports network coming August 17th. Good outing by the Mets starter Carlos Torres, who allowed only 1 run in 5 innings. A.J. Burnett, second start off the disabled list, 2 runs in 5 2/3. McCutcheon tied the score, and he's driven in another run here in the 7th. Mets just won 4-11 with runners in scoring position. And for the Mets, their 5th pitcher tonight, 3rd of the inning, Gonzalez Herman, who made his major league debut last night, suffered the loss, gave up the game-winning hit in the bottom of the 11th inning to Jory Mercer. Comes on with the bases loaded here in the 7th to face the pinch hitter Gabby Sanchez.
The story has been in this game, it's the bullpen of the Pirates have come in and really gotten the job done. The Mets quite haven't gotten the job done. Didn't have everything go their way. I think some pitchers had some pretty good stuff. Just couldn't harness the strike zone enough.
First pitch to Sanchez. Ball 1. Josh Edgin walked both hitters he faced.
And now Gabby's got a situation right here with 2 outs, bases juiced. One swing of the bat could do some severe damage and really get this game away from the Mets.
There's Edgin. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Bottom of the 7th inning. Popped up. Buck is under it. Makes the catch.
Basket style. Don't see that too often.
Basket catch to end the inning. So the Pirates strand 3, but they score 2. Sanchez fouls out to Buck. Pirates by 2. We head to the 8th. America is presented by Taco Bell. We move to the 8th here in Pittsburgh. Pirates scored 2 runs in the 7th. Now lead the Mets 4-2. Gabby Sanchez, who pinch hit for Garrett Jones, remains in the game at first base. And the new pitcher for the Pirates is the 28-year-old right-hander Mark Melancon, the former Yankee, Astro, and Red Sox, who has had an outstanding season, making his 45th appearance. Melancon Bill has allowed 4 earned runs in 43 1/3 innings.
Yeah, that's nice. And the 46 punches and only 4 walks means he's coming at you with strikes, and he's got nasty enough stuff to punch you out and not worry about walking you.
Buck leads off with the Mets trailing by 2, and Bill, you will be happy to learn that error charged to Ike Davis in the bottom of the 7th has been changed to a base hit for Snyder.
Well, yeah, you notice I got up and left, right? Where do you think I went?
The only person in the stadium not happy about that is Greg Burke, because 2 unearned runs have become earned runs.
I can understand that, but I'm a big believer. Is it a hit or is it not? And it doesn't matter home ballpark, away. I think when you square up a ball like that and you hit something that hard, and it's that type of play, it's a knock.
Quintanilla on deck. 1-2 on Buck, who has reached base twice tonight. Moving to his left is Barmes. 1 out. Well, Bill, how about a trip down memory lane? The 1984 All-Star Game at Candlestick Park. Doc Gooden, youngest All-Star in history, striking out Lance Parrish, Chet Lemon, and then Alvin Davis in succession in the 5th inning.
I don't think there was any cheese being thrown right there, do you? That's heater, heater, heater. See you later.
Doc Gooden and Tom Seaver, the only Mets who have started All-Star games. As we look ahead to Tuesday, and the very good possibility
I really think we're going to see another.
That there will be a third Met on that list.
And there might be a guy that punches out 3 people in an inning, too. He's got that kind of stuff. Yeah, and here's the debate. And I love the fact that Clayton Kershaw came out and said, look, it's in New York. Matt Harvey starts the game, period. I think that shows you a little bit about Clayton Kershaw and his character and his class. If the game wasn't in New York, I'd certainly make the argument for Clayton Kershaw to start it. But I think he's already come out and said, look, this dude should start. It's in New York, Citi Field, Mets. It's all good. Let the man start the game.
Yeah, Kershaw said earlier this week, there's no reason, especially with the game in New York, that Harvey shouldn't start. That's what the fans want. I've got no problem with that.
Anywhere else, I might throw Clayton Kershaw into the mix for sure. But in New York this year, Harvey's got to be the one.
Quintanilla grounds out to Mercer. We had a great chat with Terry Collins about Harvey's situation. Pitched 3 consecutive starts in the rain. Couldn't keep his hands dry. Suffered a blister on one finger, then developed a blister on another finger. And the Mets also want to keep a close eye on the innings pitched during Harvey's second major league season.
Yeah, and you don't want to overdo it, especially right now when you're sitting there looking at the Mets at 40 and 49. No real reason to push the envelope on this guy. This guy in a few years is going to be throwing 230 innings. You know it. He's your ace. He's your stud. You got to protect him.
1, 2, 3, 8 for Melanson. Tonight's telecast is presented by Taco Bell. Sometimes you gotta live boss. And sponsored by Ace, the healthful place. Bottom of the 8th inning in Pittsburgh. There's Eric Young Jr. He moves from left over to center field. Now in left field for the Mets, Andrew Brown. There's Andrew. And the 6th pitcher of the night for New York is their 28-year-old right-hander, Bobby Parnell, who many felt should have been considered for the All-Star game.
Certainly so, and that's a conversation we're going to have every year, no matter what we do, no matter how much you expand rosters, is who are the snubs. that come about, but certainly throwing together a fine year and worthy of a decision and some consideration for the All-Star game.
Mercer drove in a run back in the 5th inning. And he strikes out for the first out here in the bottom of the 8th.
And that second pitch, that hook, really set that high fastball up, because if you're even thinking hook in the back of your mind, you're going to have a tendency to chase that high fastball out over the plate, because you saw that hook in the same location that came down in the strike zone. Pretty effective 0-2 pitch.
So now Barnes, who has 2 hits tonight. Spent a lot of time talking about the 4 Pirates heading to the All-Star game. One is Jeff Locke. We spoke with Jeff during the 3rd inning. He will not make a scheduled start tomorrow against the Mets due to back tightness. Pirates will go with Garrett Cole instead, and Locke will not go on the disabled list. Clint Hurdle told us he will start the 3rd game coming out of the All-Star break. That's the plan against Cincinnati. Francisco Liriano, who is 9-3. Leads the Pirates and wins. He will start the 1st game following the All-Star break. It will go Liriano, then Burnett, then Locke, then Morton, then Cole.
And I think that's good for the Pirates when you're thinking about Locke and you're going to miss this start. Certainly not pitching in the All-Star game. And you know what? And as we watch Bobby Parnell go to work right here, another punch out, I thought the thing that Locke said cool when we talked to him was, my number one focus is here with the Pirates. If I can't pitch on Saturday on my scheduled start, I certainly don't want to throw an inning in an All-Star game, because my number one responsibility is here. So hopefully they'll calm down his back, his tightness. He'll get some treatment. He'll get some work. He'll be ready to make that start in the 3rd game of the 2nd half.
Parnell has struck out Mercer and Barnes. Here's Snyder.
Oh. I was pounding the strike zone, got good heater, good breaking ball right now.
Snyder got things started in the 7th with that base hit. Originally ruled an error on Davis, and he would score the go-ahead run. Pirates scored 2 in the 7th. Have a 4-2 lead. Looking ahead, Mets will have the top of the order due up in the 9th. The 0-2, and Parnell strikes out the side.
That's an impressive inning right there. Not too many pitches and all punch outs.
10 pitches, 3 strikeouts.
That's not too many.
Top of the order against the closer, Jason Grilli. Mets third baseman David Wright, Pirates outfielder Andrew McCutchen will join baseball's greatest stars for the biggest event of the summer. It's the Midsummer Classic in New York. Home field advantage for the World Series on the line. The 2013 Major League Baseball All-Star Game Tuesday starting at 7:30 Eastern only on Fox, and Jason Grilli will be there, an all-star for the first time at the age of 36. What a story.
This is one of the better stories in all of baseball this year. 36 years old, finally getting an opportunity to pitch the back end of games and closing them out, and is doing an unbelievable job for the Pirates.
Eric Young Jr. leading off for the Mets, who trail by 2. We spoke with Grilli prior to the game. Grew up in upstate New York, outside Syracuse. Attended Seton Hall University in New Jersey. His dad, Steve, the Major League pitcher with the Tigers and the Blue Jays. 28 saves in 29 opportunities for the Pirates this season. 5
saves prior to this year in all his combined efforts. He's bounced around a long time, pitched a long time, 36 years old, to get the opportunity to be the guy. Pretty impressive.
They call that grilled cheese here in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, this a high fastball right here. That's just me against you. What are you going to do with it? Hit a spot up in the zone. This is what we talked about earlier, Kenny. 252 relief appearances, 06 to 12. 5 different teams, 5 saves. 28 saves this year. Impressive. I'd like to say he's the poster child for the WBC too, because I'm a fan of the WBC. A lot of people are naysayers on it. Really came out pitching for Italy this year, throwing 1 billion miles an hour in the WBC, his first outing, and everybody was concerned about it. I don't think he's showing ill effects right now.
Now 1-1 on Murphy. Great job by our entire crew tonight here in Pittsburgh. Our producer Aaron Stoikov, director Rich Russo, associate director Eric Mandia, broadcast associate Zach Kidman, executive producer of the pregame show Mike Connor, producer Marty Montalto, director Mike Martin, and Marty Aronoff crunching the numbers for us in the broadcast booth as Murphy sends it out to shallow left. Coming on to make the catch is Marte, and the Mets are now down for their final out.
Grilli's coming in with a business-type attitude here, pounding the strike zone. What I liked about Marte right there, he came in, he called that extremely early. Wanted no part of Barnes coming out there. He says, I got this thing, and came in and took it. And if David Wright wants to keep his hitting streak alive, he's got his work cut out for him right here, the way Jason Grilli's throwing the ball right now.
David Wright, 12-game hitting streak on the line. Continues to hear the boos from this Pirates crowd, even though Alvarez will take part in the home run derby on Monday night. Strike one. Tremendous job by the Pirates bullpen. First Wilson, then Melanson, and now Grilli.
And that's pretty much been the story of this season, too. The only concern you might have for the Pirates in their bullpen is, are they going to throw too much as the season wears on? I think they've started to right that ship. The starters going deeper, and that's the ball game.
Wright's 12-game hitting streak comes to an end. Pirates win their second straight over the Mets. The Pirates bullpen retires 10 of the 11. And they face Wilson the win, Grilli the save. Pirates 1 win shy of their franchise record for most wins prior to the All-Star break.
And that was in 1971, and they went on to win the World Series that year.
Perfect night for Grilli. Time for the King Plays of the Game, brought to you by Burger King, where taste is king. Andrew McCutchen is an All-Star. In the 6th inning, he took David Arsma out of the ballpark. That tied the game at 2. And then in the 7th, he drove in the go-ahead run. And the Pirates would add another as they defeat the New York Mets by the score of 4-2. So the Pirates now 56-36, 20 games over 500. For Bill Ripken and our entire crew, Kenny Albert saying so long from Pittsburgh. More post-game coverage from the MLB Network studios with Matt Vasgersian and Kevin Millar after these messages.